Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's council meeting. 6 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. City of Anamosa City Council agenda, regular session, Monday, March 14th, 2022, 6 p.m. Anamosa Library and Learning Center. 1.0 roll call.
Crump.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tukin. Here. Zumba. Stout.
Here.
and Gumbert.
Here. Note that 5 of 6 council members are present in chambers. 2.0 Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0 Approval of agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Brooke. Any discussion from council on the agenda? Dana, will you please conduct a roll vote?
Smith.
Yes.
Tukin.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve the agenda carried unanimous. 4.0 Motion to approve the minutes from the following meetings. 4.1 February 28th, 2022, regular city council meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Council discussion. Dana?
All right, Tukin.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes as submitted carried unanimous. 5.0 Public hearings. 5.1 Public hearing on the proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2023. I will open the public hearing.
Have you received any comments in any form?
No, I've received no written or verbal comments.
Move to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Council discussion. Dana, please.
Stout.
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Tukin.
Yes.
Motion to close public hearing carried unanimous. 5.2 Resolution 2022-13, adopting the fiscal year 2023 annual budget and setting levy rates.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Rich. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana, please conduct the roll vote.
Gumbert.
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Tukin.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 5.3 Resolution approving the fiscal year 23 budget transfers.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana, please.
Tukin.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 6.0 proclamations, none. 7.0 old business. 7.1 discussion and possible action, city administrator, clerk search, presentations. See, Brent is on Zoom. We'll just go down the list in numerical order. Good evening, Brett. I'm sorry, Rob.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for having me here tonight. Basically, give you a quick summary. I conduct city manager searches throughout the state, have been doing that for about 7 years. I have two co-consultants that I do searches with, Pat Callahan, who you may know, and Mark Jackson, who's in Story City. Basically, what our firm does is we are all practitioners. Pat is a retired city manager. Mark and I are both actively in the field. He's city administrator in Story City in his day job. I'm deputy city administrator and finance director in Mason City. Combined, we've got 95 years of experience in city government. We think we know pretty much up and down the city management profession in Iowa. So that's kind of who we are. As far as what we do, we feel like our approach is a little bit different than what you may see from other firms. We're not necessarily trying to sell you a service you don't need. We want to do what's best for the city. None of us are counting on this to feed our families. So we're just in it because we love city government and we want to see cities be successful. So that's kind of, a quick overview of philosophy. I have had conversation with Mayor Rod, just as kind of he was preparing for things here. We would love to, engage with you guys however you would see fit. One thing that I think that is a real factor in today's market, basically it's a very tight market for qualified city managers right now. We think that it may actually be in Anamosa's interest to take a look at an interim city administrator. Basically, there's a few people that we have contacts with that are experienced city managers that are in transition right now, in between jobs. You would have to take a look at them, determine whether they'd be a good fit for you. We would, line them up, et cetera, to come interview with you. But what you could get out of that is you could get somebody with 20 years experience in the field. And also people that are trying to kind of rebuild their careers after a little bit of a snag, but hopefully would give you a good, really good product, good experience, et cetera. Just kind of what we're seeing out there right now in the field. We have seen application pools dwindle from, possibly, we felt like a few years ago it was getting down where, gosh, if we got 20 applications, we were pretty happy. I will tell you that we've been, as low as 12 in our application pools. I have an open one right now where we're, a little bigger city than Anamosa, but we're paying $140,000 a year, and we've got 4 applicants so far after advertising for 3 weeks. So it's a challenge. Basically, we had the baby boomers retire. They're either retired or they're not moving anywhere anymore. And so we've seen a little bit of reduction in applicant pool that way. There's also some aspects with having to move, et cetera, to be able to pursue a city manager career that's a little less appealing to today's younger people that are coming out of school. So I think there's a lot of challenges. There's still good candidates out there, but I think there's a lot of challenges right now. And I think especially right now, I think that, my knowledge of Anamosa, you've got a really good town. You've got lots of things, to kind of crow about to prospective candidates, but you do have, you haven't had stability in the position, I guess. You're now going to be out searching again here after just, a couple of years type of thing. And with prospective candidates, that can cause a few issues. We do try to talk through things with people, but, like I said, in the end, we're here to serve, we're here to answer questions. I'd be happy to address any of those that you may have.
Why did you change your mind about being a search company for us?
As far as, in what terms, ma'am?
Didn't you say that you weren't going, that you'd like to be removed from consideration as?
Yeah, so Rod
Okay.
did reach out, Mayor Rod did reach out to me today. And we kind of talked through it, and I said, because kind of what our initial thought was that we might be put in an adverse position here just because, what we're recommending is not that you go do a search right now. We're recommending that you step back and take a little bit of a look at it before you proceed. But Mayor Rod and I had a good chat today, and I felt like I owed it to you guys to be here to answer any questions you may have.
I guess in follow up to what Brent has said. So I did reach out to Brent this morning just to find an understanding as to why he had changed his opinion. And the extent of my conversation with Brent was that tonight was a night that the council could make a decision. I had not spoken with anyone on the council, so I told him I did not know what the next step was in this process, that would be determined, possibly be determined tonight. So it was not like we had an in-depth conversation about anything. That was, for the most part, the substance of our discussion.
So just out of curiosity, if we do go with your recommendation of going to an interim administrator, what fees would we have to pay to you for that service?
We could tailor that kind of however you wanted, or however you saw our scope of service. If we're talking just talking to a few people and saying, hey, would you be open to this? And then turning it over to the city to run the thing, we wouldn't be talking about much money at all. If we were talking, we would need to come in, set up the interview process, do all the background checks, et cetera. That, then it's a lesser fee than what a city manager search would be, for sure. I think the biggest thing there, kind of the advantage, it does sound like, just from, talking with Beth the other day, that, that you've got some good, really good people at City Hall, but they also aren't deeply experienced yet. And you really need, some people to, somebody to make sure that things are running smoothly. A search does typically take about 4 months from when you start to when you're going to fill the position. So the interim does have the advantage that we could probably get you somebody, more like a month from now. Now, like I said, the biggest thing that you would be dealing with there is, you will be dealing with managers that have probably been let go in their last position, and you'd have to really, take a look and determine, okay, do we feel like that was kind of a one-time thing, and or it was something that was not of their fault, or is it something that we feel precludes us from hiring them? You'd have to take a look and judge for yourself in that case. Like I said, the advantage to that is you would get a more experienced manager than probably you're going to be able to attract on the open market. And then theoretically, if that works out well, if they come to you for an initial 6-month term and things are going well and you decide to hire them on permanently, you potentially get somebody who's really in your debt and that, is very happy to be here and in this position.
So if we go with the interim then too, do we need to sign a contract with you to eventually look for the permanent city administrator?
I really think that would
be. Are you going
up,
to keep them separate?
I think that would be up to you guys. And really what we do is we could facilitate however you'd want. Certainly I could put a proposal together to link the two, but they wouldn't have to be linked. As far as that goes, if you decided to go the interim route, really, we'd be there in support or to answer questions if needed. But otherwise, hopefully that, like I said, hopefully it becomes something that becomes an interim to permanent filling of the vacancy.
Regardless, we're gonna need an interim. I mean, even if we go the search process, that takes 4 or 5 months, we gotta do.
Oh,
something in the
I know that.
meantime.
I know that. I mean, that's not the issue. It's just, I don't want to we're going to end up with a contract here and then a long term that when we do have to start looking, because who knows how long the interim may even be here. I mean, we could get an interim for 3 months and then he could have to, maybe he finds a permanent, then we have to get another interim until we finally get to that point. So I'm just trying to figure out where their thinking is through the whole process.
And there's risks and benefits either way, certainly, you guys, know your city the best, your city organization the best. You'll have to make a decision on what the appropriate approach is. But like I said, just kind of having assessed the situation and, having one of our 3 consultants that does live in town there and kind of knowing a little bit more than the average consultant, I guess, about, proceedings there. We basically have kind of felt that, this would be the correct route to take. So.
Is there any other questions for Brent? Brent, anything in close?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, be happy to serve if called upon, and if not, we certainly wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So do we have an actual proposal dollar wise from them anyplace?
No,
So we
have
really
not.
are kind of at a disadvantage at this stage because we don't have any,
Anything in writing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Item 2, Next Move Group LLC, Alex Metzger.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Oh, good evening, Alex.
Good. Thank y'all for inviting me to talk with y'all today. I am the co-founder of the Next Move Group, and we are a nationwide consulting and executive search firm. We have done executive searches in probably 30 or 40 states. We've done municipalities. We've done public-private partnerships. We have done port directors. We have done private companies, find white-collar people, warehouse managers, that kind of thing. We've done airports, et cetera. So we really have a vast knowledge of the executive search industry nationwide. Our company was founded by my business partner and I, really with a focus on small to mid-sized communities. So we both grew up in smaller towns, and our entire consulting practice is in helping those smaller and mid-sized towns achieve economic growth. So yeah, we think the executive search side is extremely important to that, whether it's a city administrator or a county administrator or a economic developer or a chamber director. The more leaders that you have in your town, obviously, the better your team's going to be and the better growth for your community. So that's a brief introduction. I know you have a proposal from us. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have after reviewing that information.
Where do you travel from?
I'm based in St. Louis. So we have an office here and in New Orleans and in Kentucky. So yeah, I'm not too far away from y'all. My sister actually lives in the Quad Cities area. So not too far away. Again, I would echo a lot of the things that Brent said as far as the marketplace now, but our search process from once we have a job profile approved, usually we can have a deal in place within 90 days, so about 3 months. Now that person, that depends on the negotiation process and what their outs are in their current contract at their current position. And then our entire process is really designed around analytics and getting your job profile in as much as people and see who's interacting with it. And then that way our recruiters know who to call and reach out to. And they say, hey, I saw you open this job profile 7 times. I saw you forwarded it. Do you have anybody in mind we should reach out to? They're looking for they'd like to achieve these goals in the next 3 years. Do you know anybody that would be good at that? And then they may say they're interested themselves, or they may say, well, actually, so-and-so in this community just had a new election that they're not getting along with their new mayor, or whatever the case may be. You should reach out to them. And so that's kind of one of the way we try to find what we call passive candidates, the ones that are not actively looking for positions.
So do you have a pool of possible interim managers then?
We do not. And so that would be something if you wanted to do a search while you had an interim, you might want to use Brent's firm for that and use us for the search process, whatever you may be, but we do not have anybody on staff to currently serve in the interim role or know if anybody step in. It would be a full replacement search.
I believe you said 3 months. You thought that you would be able to find clients that potentially would be interested?
Yeah, so we advertise the position for about 3.5 to 4 weeks, which is pretty typical in any search firm. Then usually there's a round of Zoom interviews, just because, as you can see, currently it's become so commonplace. And then, so probably looking at another 3 weeks before you're interviewing in person. A week to negotiate, then they usually have a 30-day out at their current position. We have seen some 60 days, and every once in a while you'll find some that are currently unemployed for reasons that make a lot of sense, and sometimes they can start sooner. But on average, it's kind of 90 days from when we hit send on the job profile that we have somebody in place for you.
In your experience, do folks tend to move from state to state for city manager jobs, or do they stay within the state where they're living?
There's a lot of people that move states, and you never really know the reason. We'll be doing a search in Alabama and somebody will apply from Alaska, and you'll say, well, this doesn't make sense. And then it turns out, well, they actually went to school at Alabama, or their mom is in. We had one candidate do that from Maine, that their mom was in a nursing home in Kansas. And so you never really know the ties of people nationwide and why they want to get to the region. The main focus is to find somebody that really just wants to be in a smaller community. And if the opportunity is right, and they'll move anywhere that's a small community that they feel is like home.
Also, any further questions for Alex? Well, thank you, Alex, for your presentation.
Of course, if you all have any additional questions, you can reach out to me via the contact information on that proposal. And whether you use us or another firm, we want to see you all be successful. So I appreciate the time to talk to you all today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For those comments. Item number 3, Midwest Municipal Consulting LLC, Elizabeth Hanson. Unless something has changed, Elizabeth was not going to be joining us Zoom. I don't know.
She was unavailable this evening on short notice, so her proposal's in your packet.
Does the council have any questions to raise amongst themselves on that proposal that has been submitted?
Her timeline's very positive, it appears.
Did she happen to say if she could supply a pool of interim candidates or not?
I didn't get that far with any questions. I was hoping she'd be able to be here. But we can find that out.
Guess I think it might be good to get something formal from Brent to just, since we had one from the other two, just see it in front of us. We can do that for next meeting. Maybe both options.
I think we can't make to me, we can't make a valued decision without having more information from him.
Something in writing.
Yeah, it's disappointing that they didn't provide it up front.
Yeah. Well, it's disappointing that they were withdrawing and then all of a sudden they're not too.
But yeah, I don't think we can, as far as I'm concerned, make a good valued decision without some information from them.
I'll move, we table this until next meeting and until we have a proposal from Brent, both for the search as well as anything that might be pertinent for a interim.
I can see if a list was available for the next meeting.
That would be
That
awesome.
would be good too. I'll second the motion.
Motion by Jeff, second by Rich. Further council discussion? Public comment? Dana, would you conduct the roll vote, please?
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Gombert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. 7.2, project status update from Origin Design, Nate Miller.
I'm Nate Miller with Origin Design. We've got a lot on your agenda, so keep these to a minimum here. For the Division Street Bridge replacement and the Stanley Creek Waterway rehabilitation stuff that we're working through with FEMA, it's working through the FEMA process. And you can talk a lot about that, or you can talk a little about it. So it's going through the works. There's a lot of back and forth, and we're doing everything we can to keep it moving. It's kind of a hurry up and wait thing. We send stuff to them right away. It takes a month to get an answer back. So we're doing everything we can to advance that. We're still looking to trying to get into 2023 stuff. And then the other, and this kind of leads into the next one, which is the Dillon Military Bridge.
Council, we'll separate these as single items if you don't mind. Do you have any questions for Nate on that project status? Hearing none. 7.3, discussion and possible action on a proposal for the Dillon Military Bridge, Nate Miller, Origin Design.
Well, Beth forwarded me the video that Tom Durgan took of that bridge, and so I went out to take a look at it. And it is time for you guys to decide what you want to do with that structure. I've received, as a bridge inspector, I've received a lot of submissions from people, and Tom's video really did a good job of outlining some of the deficiencies and issues. I think primary point of concern is that southwest wing wall right now is starting to separate from the back wall, and it's currently unstable. My previous update, written update, I did recommend that you keep it closed until you can take some sort of further action on it, and that still stands. It's just, once those walls start moving, there's no way to tell how stable it's going to be. So the proposal that I have in front of you is for an in-depth inspection, and that includes everything above and below the water. It includes doing an in-depth load rating to determine what the actual repaired capacity of that structure would be. And then it includes a restoration report. So what that restoration report would do is develop preliminary detail. It would get reviewed by all of the involved agencies, which would be the State Historic Preservation Office, the DNR Hydraulics Office, and then the DNR Office. So there's a lot of involved parties, so you can't just follow it with the repair design. So it's getting concurrence on our concepts on all of those, and then establishing kind of a probable project cost for what that's doing. Everybody knows the construction industry, like everything else, has been extremely volatile at this point. So now is when we also start engaging some of the contractors that would be involved in that work as we develop that cost estimate and kind of prime the pump for eventual construction. But again, I think the order of magnitude of work that's required on that, I think it's important for the city to have go into it with eyes wide open, knowing what that construction effort. And I should point out that this proposal does include us subcontracting with the commercial dive team. And I know when I was talking to Tom before this meeting, he said he does have the ability to get a lot of the information if we would need. Now, we can't contract with Tom directly. We can only work with commercial dive team. But if that information is provided to the city from Tom, then we could incorporate that and then remove that service from the contract. There's no markup or anything for us.
Are there grants available that could help facilitate the cost? And would you, or do you work to obtain those?
We can point you in the right direction. I'm a structural engineer, in Bridget, so I would not be the one to do that. Now, we work with Brad Mormon with the Conservation Department on that full stream restoration. He did the library and did that grant. We can certainly point you in the right direction. But we don't write grants. We do have some coordination with some agencies, so we could do some of it. Outside of our
Because the other side of the bridge is not in city limits, will the county be a part of this, or DNR, or who, will there be some other agency involved in this?
So the 28E gives the county half of maintenance. So we should probably take this to them to see if they would be willing to participate in 50% of the cost share for this part too.
Would that be the county or the county?
The county, the supervisors.
Okay,
So we can pursue that. Get it on their next agenda.
well, probably can't get on tomorrow, but next week.
Next Tuesday, yeah.
And again, I think once you have the information as far as the extent of the repairs, the estimated costs, time frames and things like that, that's really the information that the supervisors would likely like to see, to know what's the order.
Other questions for Alex?
Nate.
Nate, I'm sorry.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to approve this pending the supervisors, or do you want to have this tabled and tell the supervisors have a discussion or?
Either one is fine. If you want to approve it pending supervisor's decision, that's fine. And then once we know, then we can go move forward.
Is this a two-party decision or three-party? Is the DNR?
The DNR has no signing on that 28-year thing. It's only the city and the county.
Well, I'll make a motion to move forward with this pending the county's decision. And if they, based on their decision, we may have to come back and relook at this, but if they agree to fund a portion of this, I would like to see this moving faster than slower.
Yeah, I understand. If we would expedite this as much as possible. I would guess that we could get that kind of report in your hands in 60 days. We do as fast as we could do it. Again, just knowing that once those wing walls start to move like that, there's no guarantee on how stable they will be. So the best advice would just be sooner rather than
So the DNR doesn't plan it all. I mean, the only situation I can, if it were to start to deteriorate and get into the stream, then that would be a DNR. That'd be the only, would that even one?
they would just start.
No, they.
Yeah.
They just
There-
tell you get it out of the water.
Now, if we damage the dam in any fashion during the process, they might have a say of during the process or something, but at this point, as far as the bridge goes, they're out of the equation,
Yeah. they
as I
would-
understand it.
Again, they would just have kind of regulatory approval of any type of repairs that we would do. Again, one of the likely repairs would be encasing the lower parts of those limestone buttons and concrete to just above the bottom line. But again, that would constrict that water. Even if it's a building.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Further council discussion? Public comment. Please state your name and your
Tom
residence
Durgan.
of address.
Downtown property owner. First, I'd like to thank the city and Nate for taking this pretty serious. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about it. I also like to give credit to Kim for doing that wonderful video because that's above my scale. I think the Beth hit on that on the 28E. I believe the DNR has washed their hands of this a long time ago. It's between the city and the county. The city has lead, I believe, on this. So it's kind of that way I guess I would look at it as they pay half the bill, but you guys, the city, has the lead on that. I had a chance to talk with Nate, and like I said before, and when I was talking to him tonight, my plans are to still dive that and see what we can find, because it's better to get, as I say, hands-on, because you typically can't see and see what the structure is really like. When we did do our inspection that we did, it felt like there was some really big stones that I don't know if they've fallen out, but you could feel them, and they felt like they were the big massive stones like what used to be in there. I don't know if they're old from something else or what they are. So hopefully we can expedite this and keep this moving. When the river's back to a low level and we feel it's safe, and I can get the boat lined up and standbys, we'll dive that and really whatever we can to you guys and Nate. So thank you.
If that dive information is provided to us and we determine we don't have to have commercial divers come in, that would reduce the inspection costs that are included in that contract by about 4,500. That's the sub-consultant quote that we got. Thanks.
There's no other discussion. Dana, please conduct the roll vote.
Stout,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously. Thanks, Nate, for the presentation, and again, my apologies for calling you by the wrong name.
And again, I'm your resident bridge inspector. So we need our own.
Thank you. 7.4, discussion of possible action on appointment to fire board. After the last meeting, City Attorney Patrick O'Connell reached out to me. He had viewed the meeting upon someone's request and contacted me that there is a ruling that we need to have gender balance on these council liaison committees. So he then reached out to Beth and requested this to be on tonight's agenda. My understanding is that Kay or Teresa would need to serve on that committee. So Kay, being you served on in the past and had shown interest, are you still interested?
Definitely.
We would need to remove one of the three that is on there, being Rich, Jeff, or Brooke. I guess would anyone volunteer to step aside?
I would.
You would?
I would.
Again, I was not aware of this. Patrick, you just, well, you've seen the attachment that Beth sent earlier today. So you're informed of.
I would too. If I've been on there. for Years.
Either or.
Well, how many committees are you on, Brooke?
Just garbage and fire station.
And
Or
Jeff, you're
landfill,
on
yes.
3.
So you want me to?
So I'm on 2 right now, so it would probably make sense for Jeff to be the one, since he's already has 2 others to be on.
With that, I would imagine, Beth, we have to address this with a motion and a vote.
Then you can make the motion, you can make one motion to
Remove and name.
replace.
Well, I'll make the motion to add Kay to the fire board and at the same time, remove Jeff from the fire board.
I'll second that.
Motion by Rich, second by Brooke. Council discussion. Dana?
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Comberg,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.0 new business. 8.1 review and approval of change order for order number 2 for the Jordan Well number 6 project. Bid package 2.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Kay. Thanks, Kay. Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Further council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Comberg,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.2 review and approval of change order number 2 for the Jordan Well Number 6 project, bid package 1.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Rich. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Tukin,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.3, review and approval of pay application number 2 to Boomerang Corporation in the amount of $152,018.96 for the well number 6 project bid package 2.
Move to approve.
Motion by Rich, second by Brooke. Sorry, Jeff. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.4, resolution approving the hiring and setting salary for a community service officer for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Rich. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Stout,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes. Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.5, resolution approving the hiring and setting salary for the position of utilities operator for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Council discussion.
Does the person have any background or I want to say, no, or certificate, in like water, wastewater?
Qualifications.
Yeah,
No, not.
just curious.
But a Kirkwood graduate.
Other council discussion? Public comment. Dana?
Gumbert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.6, resolution approving and authorizing the placement of funds in various depositories.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Teresa. Council discussion.
I do have a question. How often do we ever go out and do an RFP to compare services and so forth?
We haven't, not that I have found, but we should.
It's
so-
it's probably been long enough that we should do that at some point. Okay.
Further discussion?
This is basically just housekeeping to update the
Correct.
users and depositors.
Well, this one's just allowing us to set how much to put into each institution.
And it changes who can be,
Who
who
can-
can deposit.
And who can
So
deposit.
Yeah.
Took me off your list and put Dana on the list for depositories.
I thought that was the next resolution.
That one's for vendor accounts.
Oh,
So-
okay.
We have a lot of vendor accounts that we're doing this preemptively, so we don't have trouble later.
Okay.
Public comment? Dana?
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes. Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.7, resolution approving and authorizing users and administrators for the city of Anamosa, Iowa vendor accounts.
Move to approve.
Motion by Kay,
Second.
second by Rich. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Tukin.
Yes.
Stout.
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.8, discussion of possible action on sludge removal services. Steve Agnish, Robert Young.
Steve Agnes, Utilities Director. Includes the letter there in their packet. You guys have any questions on this?
How many tons do we use in the spring and the fall, or do we require being spread in the spring and the fall?
I think we can just do it in the fall.
Okay.
Okay, and there's some discrepancy in the numbers, so I'm not for sure, but I'm going to estimate it's going to be around $20,000 to haul the sludge in the fall.
So what equipment do we not have that keeps us from doing this ourselves?
We don't have the equipment to go out and do soil samples. There is other requirements have changed. Things are changing in the DNR all the time. So just for example, previous, this was our biosolids plant. This is our new biosolids plant. There's been a lot of changes and updates since the last plan. So to make sure that we're in compliance, it's just as easy to hire one of these individuals to come in, take care of it. And then when we're done, they hand us a packet that says, this is where we did it. This is where we put it. We're not relying on the farmer to say, yeah, I spread it here, but did he actually spread it there? And did he overspread or under, so we get in violation.
So
I know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna ask, what's the difference between now, we just taking it out and dumping it? And then that's the farmer's responsibility to incorporate it?
Yes,
And this company is gonna come in and are they going to inject it
they're going to inject it.
as it goes?
Yeah.
So they're gonna actually perform more than what we would
Correct.
normally do. Okay,
Last year, all we did was the farmer came in and he actually hauled it all out himself that he took since we were still under the old plan. So he hauled it, he took care of it from there.
What you said you don't have equipment for testing, like what kind of dollar amount is that we would need to have to be able to do that ourselves?
We'd have to go out and do the soil samples and then we have to submit those every year. Then you're going to have to buy some sort of injector so you can go out and make sure that it's getting injected into the soil right. And I have no idea what that's going to cost. So.
well, is that one of the changes in the law that we are now responsible for injecting it as opposed to just dumping and running, so to speak?
That's where it's a little gray. I think HR Green is the one that wrote the new sludge plan for us. So I think they wrote it this way to then help us make sure that we're covered all the time.
I get there's a lot to it, but if there's a way we could do it ourselves, I mean, I know a superintendent of a grade 4 bigger city and the only reason they don't do theirs is they don't have a pumper, for example, but that's why they don't do it. But
Do they also deal with liquid and not solids?
they're just liquid, but
Okay, so
he used to work at a smaller one. They did it all themselves. I know we used to haul with our trucks. And they just $20,000 a year. Just if we had certifications within the city, I'd get there's probably a challenge to it. I'd just like to see us, if at all possible, keep it in house. But yes, obviously stay in compliance too. But that's a lot of money.
Probably less than one fine for not doing it right.
We need to be up on it. You know, that if we have the certifications for it, we need to be up on it. No different than any other.
We don't have this, we don't have the knowledge to go out and do the soil sampling and that stuff.
Is there trains or classes to be up on that?
That I can't tell you.
Well, the other part that, because you've got such a narrow window and such a large amount to process, I'm gonna guess it's not gonna be like they do for hog confinement buildings where they'll come in and they're right there within their own backyard of hauling, depending on where we're hauling to. And we may have to have 2 or 3 injectors to get the amount done in that short window that we have. So I don't know if that would also be a problem then.
Could be.
I mean, I don't know how long it would take them to do our sludge and get it injected. You know, if it takes them a week, if they bring in 3 or 4 injectors and
One of the things that they told me that if they showed up, just figuratively speaking, if they showed up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, they would not stop until they were done. So they would run 24/7 until they're done. So then they could move on to the next site. Give their guys a break then afterwards, or have 2 shifts and then it's done because of the window. What does the fall likes? Changes every year.
Shane Brown, street superintendent. I've been involved with hauling the sludge. It's not the hauling, it's the person putting it on. Are they getting it done in a 24-hour window when we drop that off? That's a big deal now. I know, like these farmers, if they put shit on the ground, you gotta have it dished in 24 hours. Now, I don't know if they're getting done that way, but we hauled a lot of sludge 2 years ago. And I know darn well that it wasn't getting done in 24 hours. I mean, they worked at it. They had 2 spreaders, but they couldn't keep up with hot dump trucks. And who's to say they got it dished in the right time? I mean, you just can't leave it sit there. I mean, there's fines. The DNR gets real excited. And Jeff, you probably know with Matt McNamara that he's got to do his in a timely fashion. So, I mean, there are fines, they will give them out, and people do bitch when it smells.
We know where that responsibility lies. Does it rely on the city, the municipality, or does it?
Which part?
How quickly it is injected,
I believe ultimately we are responsible.
the city?
Whether we contract it out or whether we do it,
Correct.
no matter what liable. I guess.
But they're absorbing the liability, so to speak. So if let's say they don't get it done in time, but like they said before, they're going to be injecting it right away. So that it's not going to have that chance to lay on the ground for 24 hours. If you understand what I'm saying, Jeff.
We just said ultimately we're liable no matter what. So I guess.
Because we're supposed to oversee the whole process and make sure that it is disposed of in a proper manner. So they're not necessarily, if they find out it's from the city, they're not necessarily going to come to the farmer first. They're going to knock on our door first and say, why didn't you make sure that this was done right?
That will occur no matter what, if they feel there's some type of wrongdoing or possible violation.
They'll come to us first instead of coming to the farmer or the property owner.
so would this company carry insurance that if that would happen and there's a fine to the city, their insurance, because they failed to perform, would pick that fine up?
I'm going to assume so. I don't know. I didn't bring the. wait a minute.
I know DNR watches closely, but it's no different than, there's a lot of things at City Hall with Beth and staff's books. It has to be right, and they got to stay on top of it. They can't just contract all that. That's just where I'm coming from, I guess. Person I talked to has been doing it a long time, since it's all spelled out in chapter 67 of sludge hauling. DNR.
It doesn't say in their quote,
Okay.
that part of it.
So how much does a sludge injection machine cost?
I have no idea.
Is it basically a manure spreader?
No, because this
Oh,
is something
no,
that's
it's
gonna,
way different. It injects into the ground.
Yeah.
Whereas a manure spreader spreads on the ground.
Well, and I'm gonna guess that there's more to it than just having the injector, because then you're also gonna have the tractor
Something
to pull it.
Yeah.
And depending on what they're using to haul to the field, I've seen them where they've got a tubing that will run the length of the field because it's unpumping from the trailer as they're injecting. So depending on what you're doing, there's more to it than just the injector.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or is it something for the one or whatever, that you're doing it once a year in the fall, can you rent that type of machinery for, one time a year?
I do not know. The other thing then, what we're gonna have to do too, if you're wanting to go back and do it ourselves, is then we're gonna have to get with the DNR and HR Green and redo our whole plan, because our new sludge plan does not actually permit us to do it. And it's been signed off by the DNR too, so.
The plan was written for the city not to be involved.
Just to contract with a firm to do it.
It seems like it's backwards order though. If the plan, we paid money to get a plan saying that we're gonna contract it out, and then after the fact, bring it for approval. And then it just seems odd.
We got permission from the council to get the plan revised.
Steve, did you run numbers previously to see what the city's cost was with the hauling and allowing the landowner to inject or to apply themselves?
No, I did not. I did not run numbers at that time. I had, like I said before, we approached HR Green to get a new plan, and I did not, they knew what we had on for an old plan, what I could find, and I give them that, and then they wrote the new one.
Well, it seems to me, and I'm just going off memory, but it seems to me like when the streets department was not helping with the hauling, we were spending $5,000 to $6,000 in the spring and $5,000 to $6,000 in the fall to have an outside firm physically haul it out to the farmer.
I think so. I agree.
So we were spending anywhere from 10 to 12,000 just from that standpoint without the injection and that process of it. I might be wrong on those numbers, but I think I'm pretty close,
Mhm.
if I remember right, so.
Placed in the budget.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes, I put this in the budget. This is
We
in the
probably
budget.
planned a little high because we weren't sure exactly where we were gonna come out fund wise. I believe part of the sanitary survey was that we needed to update our sludge plan.
Yes,
So this was required as part of that sanitary survey that's done every 3 years.
2 years, every 2 years, and that was completed in August of last year.
So it was at request of the DNR that we look at our sludge plan. We didn't just out of the blue say we need to go look at it. It was part of that sanitary survey and something we need to correct. I believe our previous budget amount for the sludge hauling was probably $40,000. Between the press maintenance and paying someone to haul it, depending on if we needed to do it in spring and fall, and depending on how it's going to goes.
Do we still have the press maintenance?
Yes, I added $35,000 to that line for sludge removal and press maintenance, because like I said, I had a hard time trying to find some solid numbers as to what has been applied over the last 5 years.
Is there any more questions or discussion necessary? Is the council at a point to make a decision?
Well, I'll make the motion to select Midwest injection out of Cascade.
Motion on the floor from Rich to proceed with Midwest injection. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Further council discussion? Public comment? Dana?
Gombert,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
No.
Smith,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion carries with 5 in the affirmative and 1 nay.
4 in the affirmative. and
Sorry, 4. 8.9, discussion of possible action on lawnmower replacement. Shane Brown, Steve Ignish, and Robert Young.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Shane Brown, Streets Department Superintendent. Tonight in front of you are 3 mowers that we've been looking at. Currently, our mowers that we have are starting to cost us a lot of money. I've been in contact with 4 or 5 people, and they trade every 3 to 4 years. We're in that window. A couple of our mowers are 2011. They're past. We also have a green one that is smoking, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose it. In your packet was kind of what we thought. Our first choice for tonight was the Bobcat, then the Bad Boy, and then the Simplicity. They're all great mowers. They're all gonna be easy to work on. The only reason we went with the Bobcat, it had a better warranty. It was 3 years and I believe 2,000 or 3,000 hours. Right now, we don't have any warranty on the mowers. And last fall, we fixed the LCC's mower, and it was around 1,600, not with our time putting it back together. And our lawnmower is just like that. We have temporarily fixed it not to have that, but it's not going to last. We won't be trading them in. We'll be just taking them to auction to see what we get. And the Bobcat was the cheaper of a little bit cheaper. And they'd be all 61-inch decks. And then 2 for the streets department and 1 for the water department. And then they're going to help us mow. Well, they helped us mow last year too. And we're kind of short some mowers, but it works out pretty good. We help them, they help us.
How many hours do you put on average on a mower a year?
Now we average between 350 and 400.
So you currently, we're using Parks and Recs?
We did, no, we didn't use, they did. The one Simplicity, that's a 2011, but they're not going. Parks and Rec is not in this. They'll have 3 mowers and I'm hoping she'll put it on the budget for next year.
I mean, she let you borrow there.
She's mowed up. We've used, she's used ours, we've used theirs, but
They've got a long time since they've got anything new.
yep.
On top of that,
I wanted 5 new mowers this year, 5 new 0 turns for the whole city. That would have been 2 for the Parks and Rec, 2 for us, and 1 for the city. And then next year will be the tractors. And it'll be at least 3 of them. But I didn't want to do 8 mowers this year. I mean, I'm trying to spread it out a little bit because the tractors are going to be a little more expensive.
Do you have the option to order 5?
I do. I do have the option to order 5. Bobcat can be here in 90 days. The next one down, the Bad Boy, I just let them know and they'll find them for me. But right now, and Simplicity is, he's got one now, and I'd have to wait till August to get the rest. But the more we order, the less money it is. Because if you get 5 mowers on a truck, that's a pretty good. It's a lot better than 1.
If you were worried about the
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'd be super excited if you did the parks ones too. The other reason we want to do this is we want to keep all the lawnmowers the same filters, same belts, same blades, same parts. That way we're not running to Mount Vernon or to Cedar Rapids or wherever in 3 different directions for parts. It'd be parts from one place.
What's the cost per mower?
9. One was 9,000, I believe.
What's the Bobcat? And is Bobcat X mark or?
No, it's Bobcat. Jeff Minger's running them and he likes them better than the X marks. Right now, I have it here. So for is $9,911 for the Bobcat. The Bad Boy is $9,067. And the Simplicity was like 11,000 something.
$10,712 according to the email that we have in our packet.
Okay,
The Bobcat would not be the cheapest.
It is the second cheapest, I guess.
Beth, what fund, so they pull these, it's out of wastewater, water, or streets, does it come out of the general, because it can't come out of like the enterprise, like, does it come out of road use for all those? which
So
then-
the water and the wastewater mowers come out of water and wastewater. Shades will come out of road use.
Which I've budgeted for.
So if we were to go to 5, where would the other 2 come from in the budget?
The other two would be.
even though they get intermixed with like for road
Correct.
use.
It's where it's used for the most.
Well, I'd like to see Parks and Rec get one of these new mowers as well. Personally.
Talking 3 initially, without even talking Parks and Rec, I mean, could we spread it out, baby steps, do like 1 for water, wastewater, 1 for Parks and Rec, maybe 2, I don't know, just take.
I mean, you're gonna save money by buying 5. I don't have but the longer we wait on this,
The more expensive.
and the
it would be.
longer it's gonna take to get them.
It takes a long-
I just know a lot of people with like their cars and stuff, you hear about people, their repairs, but because there's no wiggle room there, the cost of a new car, people are putting more in as far as fixing them up to prolong them. as opposed to-
But the problem is I got 2. I got that John Deere that's gonna fail. And I know it's gonna fail because I watched theirs fail. And they have 2 John Deeres. And I know that other one had oil or water in the pumps. And that's not good on them. We drain them. I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but for 5 mowers and everybody gets one and we're on a 4-year or 3 to 4 year trade out. And then next year I'm looking at, I need like tractors for the hills. And that's 4 tractors next year. 3 tractors next year.
Well, it seems like we could make an argument that had we been rotating mowers before now, we wouldn't be, I mean, one of the ones that you want to replace is 2011. The other 2 are 15 and 16. That would be almost
For all,
kind of
would-
old.
for all the ones,
I would say those later model ones need to go to Parks and Rec then rather than to auction. If they're running 2011.
Parks and Rec has a 2011 also, Simplicity.
This is why I mean, we need rather than send the newer ones to auction, maybe they need to get moved over.
Just do a rotation.
oh, like
Yeah,
whatever.
to rotate 'em
whatever's
rather than
sitting better
auction 'em.
for Parks and Rec, yours, whatever. So you got that one, whatever one's sitting better, auction them, worst one.
Get rid of the worst.
So if you do 3 mowers, then just make sure the 2 best ones stay.
Mhm.
Is the Simplicity a tractor or a mower?
It's a 0 turn.
So it's 2010.
Mhm. That's the LCCs. The LCC has a Simplicity that had been parked for 3 years and set in the shed. Not sure why. But I pulled it out, we put a couple tires on it and put new arbors on it and got it running. And then they have 2 John Deeres.
Is everything being replaced 0 turns, not tractor mowers that were.
Everything tonight is 0
Okay,
turns.
I'm just making sure we're not like.
Tractors are next year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get they're wearing out, as you look on down the next item, I mean, there's a lot of big ticket items for consideration. It's just,
We've also budgeted for those too, that
you know, just because the budget doesn't mean you just need to spend it.
The main problem is that we ordered a dump truck.
Mhm. in March of last year, and I don't have it.
We still don't even have an estimated time.
They
We
won't
got
tell
a
me.
dump Truck that we've had to put new tires on, thinking we weren't gonna have it this year. And we spent more money, with one of them, maybe Steve was towed last
Yep.
year.
Yes, mine was towed.
So, you know, it's just a little unpredictable, so that's why if it's a good time to order something, so we can at least get it during our time when we actually need to use it, instead of getting mowers in October.
When it's
you know,
over.
After we blow up 2 of them this summer, or, whatever's gonna happen this summer.
Well, if it don't rain, we won't mow. I mean, we'll be painting grass green instead.
How much of a price break would we get for 5?
They didn't tell me, but they said it does make a difference. Because you're buying a quarter of a truckload.
There is an $850 difference in the cheapest to what you're requesting.
Yep. That's a good mower too, but the warranty was what we were going off of. And I don't know if we have it here, do we, Steve? The warranty.
3-year 2,000 versus
Yeah.
2-year unlimited.
Did you look at Skag at all?
They wouldn't give me a price and they don't know when they're gonna get them.
Those are good ones too.
Yep. We looked at another one and they were the same boat. We can order them. We may not see them till October. The only one that would set me up was Bobcat said 90 days, which I was super elated because we order them this week or next week. We'll have them by hopefully July or June, July, August, maybe. And then the bad boys, I was in and talked to that fella. He's from Coggin, Iowa, which is not too far either. And he said he'd find me mowers. But I don't know if that meant he'll find me them by August or now. Like I said, the Simplicity is a good one too. The guy had one left. And he said for the rest of them it'd be August. Like I said, every day we wait, it's further.
Did you check with Kubota?
I did not check with Kubota. I figured I had 3 here and I was frazzled out. I did check with Hustler and they were way out of our price range. And I got 2 Hustler dealers and they were within $500 of each other.
So as far as the mowing, I know streets mows a lot, Parks Rec mows a lot, and then it's primarily the mowing around like the water facilities. Wastewater doesn't really have.
We mow it with tractors because it's steep.
Where do you mow it? Like around the wastewater plant?
Mhm.
That's the only area that really wastewater per se has to mow.
No,
The lift station.
the lift station,
Oh, all right.
Rosemary is a 4-wheel drive. You will slide down the hill on a 0 turn.
But around the Second Street, that new one there, that bit there. Who mows the most ground?
Between Shelley and I, both of us. But it's nice too for the guys. They're doing the flats and the water and the sewer departments.
Plus we have, don't forget, we have the tower. We have both wells. We'll have Brimley Woods
Yep.
because of well 6, the water department.
We're gonna have to mow out. We're gonna have to start taking care of that dirt ground you're gonna put your road out to. We're gonna have a lot more mowing. We mow the 5-way. You know, once you extend that road out to Parham, you're gonna have the roundabout to mow around and all that too.
Are you gonna use the 0 turns on that or are you gonna use the tractors?
And I'll have to use 0 turns probably. I think they said these 0 turns go 13 mile an hour. So if you got in a bind and needed to go somewhere, you could get there faster.
So like you bring up doing the roundabout and that. Are you driving these out there or are you loading them up onto a trailer and taking them?
We unload them. We take a trailer. We put 2 mowers on a trailer and go.
Okay.
If you're like in the vicinity, if there's just a few blocks, you just.
Yeah, like the fire station. So we do the fire station and we do right there by Kids R Us. There's that hill. Then that guy will jump over here to 2nd Street and then the library and then on up to across from the AMVets, then the 5-way. Then you got Casey's, then you got behind REC there, we got some. There's a spot behind Kitty's old hair studio that we mow there. We also have to mow the bicycle or the window picture down on the west end of town. We mow outside of town. We mow on Iowa Street. We mow on Cherry, which goes out to like you're going up to Stone City. We mow out there. We mow out by Galen Caprins. Then we mow down by Topkins, the levees. We mow around our shop. And then we have the cemetery. So we cover a ton of territory. Primarily, we'll have 2 guys on this side of town, and the rest of us will be on the west side of town. And then when they're done over here, we meet up, finish up, and then we'll head into the cemetery.
Your submitted proposal, Shane. So if the 3 mowers were allocated to water, wastewater, and city, all 3 of those would put 325 hours on per year.
Just about, yep.
But the streets and the park, you said actually mow the most.
But they help us too. So, I mean, we might lower the mower down by having another one, by having them. It might cut us back to maybe 275 a year.
So you're talking keeping them 4 years. I mean, just real rough math, you're costing us about $2,500 a year to have a new mower. Keep it 4 years times.
Well, if they're well-built mowers, I would think we ought to be able to get more years out of them than
Oh,
4.
I agree.
The decks are a lot nicer, a lot thicker now, especially on all these mowers. I mean, compared to the John Deere's, they're an 1/8 inch and these are all 1/4 to 1/2 inch decks. Thickness.
You think they put a 1/2 inch deck on these?
Some of it is 1/2 and then some of it's 1/4. In the wear spots is 1/2.
Maybe double that. I was just saying that's.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean,
Round your outside.
round your,
Doubled up. So it's a half.
it's really nice. I mean, they're really nice and heavy.
I personally think we should do one for each department at this time. That's my thoughts on it.
Are you including parks then?
Yes.
So 4.
Are you saying utilities, streets and parks, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
For a total of 4.
for a total of 3.
For a
Okay.
total of 3.
He's combining water and
Water,
wastewater.
Well, they're
if I'm-
So they're using them together.
Yeah,
They were anyway.
I mean, they've been combined anyway.
So can I take that as a motion, Brooke?
Yes,
Now pick which one.
I would say the Bobcat. I would make a motion to do 3 Bobcats since it is from Rexco. Split up 1 for each department, Parks and Rec, streets and utilities.
I'll second that.
will we have to amend Parks and Recs budget?
Motion by Brooke, second by Jeff. 3 mowers, 3 departments. Further council discussion? Any other comments? Dana?
Crump,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Gumbert.
Yes. Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.10, discussion of possible action on skid loader replacement for street department, Shane Brown, street superintendent.
Good evening again, Shane Rouse Street Department. We're standing up here tonight on a skid loader. I got a bid through a New Holland dealer. He'll give us 43,000 to trade. So our total bill would be $18,284. Don't know when we'll get it, but right now they put the EGR valve on, Volvo did. They left. We didn't even get it pulled out of the shed. The lights all come back on and I called them. Told them, they said not to worry about it, but then we got to the end of the driveway and it overheated. So we called Rotor out of Macokota. They're a JCB dealer. They come up, went through it. I think they were there 4.5 hours on that Volvo skid loader. Found that we have a sensor out. Can't get the sensor now. We can't make it to the end of the driveway again. So it's sitting. So we're paying for that Bobcat because we ain't got nothing else. But as soon as I get it going, I want to get it out of here if I can. So tonight I'm proposing for this New Holland. It's a C332. They offered me a trade-in value of $43,000. And then we would only have to come up with $18,284.
And if I'm reading this right, you're paying rental right now of $4,500. Is
It's
that
$2,500 a month.
$2,500 a month?
Mhm.
What Bobcat we have? That Bobcat we're renting?
Yeah, for the Bobcat. So now we're gonna be at 6,000 something. Because you're going on a 3rd month. We just need something that's a little more dependable, I guess. I've talked to these people that gave me this bid. And if something goes wrong with our skid loader, they will bring us one until ours is fixed.
You're talking about Cominga.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Can I just ask a question real quick? So you had a Bobcat before we liked, and we're running a Bobcat that we like. Why not look at a Bobcat?
They're more money. A lot more money. I mean, I don't even know if I brought the, yeah, I did. So right now they'll give you 34,000 for trade-in. And we'd have to come up with 35,500 bucks.
Let me ask another question. Do we need 2 skid loaders if we had one really, really good one?
The reason Main Street looks so good is because we had 2. And they're just flying through Main Street and they're doing the parking lots for us. And it's sped up clean in town. It's saved us like 4 hours a crack, which has been fantastic. And then the times of coming in at midnight to get the snow off of Main Street or the next morning at 4 in the morning. So people can park and be on Main Street. We're getting them on Main Street that same day. And they're getting out of their cars and they're not stepping over 2 foot of snow. I mean, that's a lot, guys. I mean, I can count on one hand how many complaints I had on Main Street, why it wasn't snowed or why it wasn't plowed. I don't have any. I know in front of Teresa's business, we've always had trouble getting it moved. The snow moved. We've never been able to do it. Them two skid loaders, they do on the alleys, the side streets, they plot, I mean, we got piles and they're not on Main Street, which has saved us a ton of safety because cars going underneath of our loader while he's trying to put snow in our trucks. And right now, the last two snows we had, I know they weren't huge, but we had the snow removed and hauled off of Main Street by 10 o'clock while we finished up other stuff. So it's been a huge asset this year on how much stuff we've gotten done. And everybody's working together. That's even the better part. But these guys can do this parking lot out here twice as fast as a truck. A truck could take an hour. They can do it in 35 minutes. All we have to do is come in and sand it. And that gets us on the alleys for those people that use alleys access. We can get there faster. We're even using our loader, our big end loader. We have a big V plow and we're using it on cul-de-sacs. And then we just go back and hit it with sand. I've had a lot of people and they've said, I know it costs a lot of money, but they can't believe how nice downtown looks after a snow.
I agree. Oh, yeah, a lot of compliments. I'm just trying to ask questions.
Yep.
And
But like I said, this last one, when he came in he's gonna give us 43,000 for that thing, and we've already put in quite a bit of money to it, and I still can't use it. 18,000. I mean, that's less than a vehicle. I mean, and we use it. We use it in the cemetery. We use it all over the place.
I'm just amazed they're giving you 43 for that Volvo.
Hey, they might be listening.
But my one question I've got, kind of a follow-up to Jeff, is how comfortable are you with this New Holland? I mean, do you think it's a good unit? It's gonna not break down and be another Volvo?
I don't know that, but I mean, it's coming from a credible place that sells them every day. And they're gonna give us one to use until ours is fixed. That's even better because when I called down to Volvo, well, we could get you one out of Des Moines, but I don't feel like going to get it. Perfect. Him and,
Well,
I mean, we've
agree
been
with
going
them
back
being
forth.
So close that is an advantage.
There's nothing wrong with the Bobcat. I just was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt that they're gonna give us 43 versus, I believe, 34 or 35,000. And we've already had a bad trade. I mean, we lost a nice Bobcat skid loader for 10 or 12,000 bucks.
yeah, that's why I just bring it up. I mean, we had Bobcat we love this Bobcat we've used this winter. I know it's instead of getting two that were so well, I mean, maybe we look at just getting one that, pull off, get one this year that's really good, we really like, is gonna work good, and do that.
Where is the primary usage for the skid loaders? Is it snow removal?
Snow. Now that we have the excavator, we're gonna need to backfill with them. And so we're gonna start using them more. And we use them just about every day now.
Well, and do you use it to fill in graves?
Yep. Yeah, works great for, if
Well,
it's
with the
slimy
track
out.
going-
Backfill.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, it's up to you guys on what I get for a skid loader. It does not matter to me. I was just trying to give you the best skid loader for the right amount of money. So later on, if something major does happen, we're covered. I mean, I got two quotes from New Holland's and a quote from them and a quote from Case, which Case wasn't this good either. I mean, it was not.
And actually New Holland makes the case. good.
Yep.
Just painted orange.
There's no additional deal that we were buying Bobcat mowers.
I don't think so. Not unless he tells me tomorrow I could have the Bobcat and, but they were the ones that said if you bought more lawnmowers, it would be cheaper, but. And we don't know when we'll get the Bobcat. I mean, it could be out there. It's just like the New Holland. It's out there.
This is like everything, cars.
Yep.
I just know you see the Bobcats run a long time. I mean, Binger still has one that's probably 20 years old and still uses.
We should still have the one we got rid of.
We have 5,000 hours on ours at work and they're fine.
So, I mean, if you're looking at long term, yeah, that's the only reason I'm.
I got a New Holland at home and it's got 3,000 on it, almost 4. So they're both good skid loaders. It's just what you want me to buy or not to buy. But I'm guessing this Volvo is probably going to end up in the Wapsie. Maybe.
And you're talking to me about saying something about the trade-in value?
I'm sure insurance is good.
Further discussion. I'm certainly not trying to cut anything short here. We do have a motion on the floor from Kay to go with the New Holland.
And you're comfortable with the New Holland?
I think so.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kay, second by Rich. Council, further discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Tukin,
Yes.
Gombert,
Yes.
Stout,
No.
Crump,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion passed, 4 in the affirmative, 1 opposed. 8.11, discussion of possible action on skid loader replacement for utilities department. Steve Ignish, Robert Young.
And just following along with Shane, trying to get the same brand, keep some of the filters and that kind of stuff is the same. So we have parts on hand.
How many hours are on your loader?
1253 right now.
And what's the problem with that one?
It's a mechanical linkage on the hydros, and we've tried having it adjusted. We've had, it's been to Sherman's, and we've had helis down to try to adjust the linkage. And what it likes to do when you're going in and trying to scrape next to cars and stuff, it wants to go from side to side. I've almost hit a couple of cars a few times with it. It is starting to burn a little bit of oil now too in the engine. I did notice that in this last week. So it's 10 years old. I think we're at that point where we should really think about trading it off. I think we got a really good price for a trade-in through New Holland.
What was that?
The
Is it the one that's 30,000 off of the 62 cost for our cost of 32?
no, our cost is 37.96.
Yeah,
They're giving us 28.5 for a trade.
I'm on the wrong page. Find this thing.
now are you looking at a little bit bigger unit than what
Yes.
Streets is getting?
Yes, because the machine that I have is a 90 horse machine. And we need the 90 horse to push the big snow box. We need every ounce of horsepower we can get. And then I'm also looking at a wheeled machine instead of a track.
This is trading the case.
This is trading the case, yes. I don't need no buckets, or I don't need to change any buckets either because I have buckets and that kind of stuff. Shane is going to a little bigger machine, so he's getting some buckets with his.
Council to appoint to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the New Holland.
Motion on the floor by Rich. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Further council discussion? Public comment? Dana?
Stout,
No.
Tukin,
Yes.
Comber,
No.
Smith,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion carries with the majority, 3 in the affirmative, 2 opposed. 8.12, review and approval of a professional service agreement amendment with Martin Garner Architecture, PC, for the police station project.
This is just for a structural engineer to evaluate where they're gonna put the overhead doors. It kind of has that weird loading dock on the backside, and then evaluating whether we want to move the door to the front side.
This is talking about the west side.
Yeah, I think it's by the patio. Yeah,
Are they looking at doing anything on the east side or just the west side? Just the west.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Rich. Is there a second to the motion?
Second that.
Motion by Rich, second by Jeff. Further council discussion?
I guess. We don't have a contract on the work to be done on this building, correct?
no, we do with Martin Gardner. We haven't gone out for bid. We've done all the demolition in-house, so that part is completed.
Okay, so
We're still in the design, the final design phase.
I got you. Okay,
So this is part of that final design phase. We had thought we could just use what was there. However, it's a little more complicated than anticipated. So that's why we need structurally to find out where that door opening could be placed.
okay.
Does that clarify, Brooke?
Yeah, it does.
Any other discussion? Public comment? Dana?
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Comber.
Yes,
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.13, review and approval of contract for community development block grant services amendment with East Central Iowa Council of Governments for the CDBG downtown facade project.
So last week we had our review with the state. So this is just to make sure we're covering a HUD requirement for a clause in both the council of governments contract and the architectural contract. So that's what the next item is too. Both of those are just meeting the requirement that we've just had some language missing that HUD requires. It doesn't change anything else with the contract. It's just that language.
So is this retro back to September of 2020?
Correct. It would have been, it should have been in the original contract.
Okay.
So this is just amending that original contract. There will be some fair housing standards language on our next utility bill. If you get any questions, that's also a HUD requirement, just for fair housing.
Just a disclosure, not a new fee, just a disclosure.
Yep, it's just gonna be just a statement that the city of Anamosa participates in fair housing.
Move to approve.
Motion by Kay,
Second.
second by Rich. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Gumbert,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.14, review and approval of professional services agreement amendment with Martin Garner Architect PC for the CDBG downtown facade project.
And again, this goes back to September.
It's just that HUD language clause that needed to be in there.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Jeff. Council discussion. Public comment. Dana?
Crump,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.15, discussion of possible action on holding citywide cleanup on April 23rd from 7 a.m. to noon.
At the usual place.
Hello again. Shane Brown, streets permit. I had this put on there because last year, we came to you too. And we also moved it in front of our street shop last year, which worked out fantastic on the asphalt versus in the rock if it was raining. I asked Beth, we should do it again, but I think we should. Because we got our new officer coming on. We get the town cleaned up a little bit and then he can have at her. Also, from 7 o'clock to noon works out about the best. Otherwise, in the afternoon, you stand around a lot. And I believe last year it started at 7 and we had everybody at noon and we were done. Go any longer than that. Like I said, you get stragglers all day and it's not fun to stand there. And you might stand an hour, then you don't have nobody, then you get slammed. I feel like this pushes everybody that they want to throw something out. It gets them out of bed and moving. I mean, I just soon be out of bed and moving.
Is this a Saturday?
Yep, it's a Saturday morning after Easter. So, I mean, whatever you didn't like from the Easter bunny, bring it on out, we'll take it.
Well, they've been pretty successful in the past, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
so I think it's a good thing to do. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Jeff. Further council discussion. Sure, we'll have to provide a listing of things that we cannot take, but we've got time to work that in.
We can do it ad in paper again.
Public comment? Dana?
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.16, review and approval of liquor license renewal for Walmart.
Move to approve.
Second.
Who was the second, Teresa? Motion by Rich, second by Teresa. Discussion? Dana?
Gumbert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.17, review and approval of current bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Council discussion on the bills that were submitted.
Just out of curiosity, which department the partitions, the bathroom partitions for, is that LCC? Good.
Anything else? Dana?
Tukin,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 9.0, city administrators report.
Like we talked about earlier, we did have the state here for our CDP inspection for downtown. So did a walkthrough. He looked everything, okay, and did some discussion about the next phase and possibly breaking that into two. Just minor things we need to the clauses and the fair housing notice was about it. Otherwise, we got everything turned in. I think we just received our third pay application back, and we'll just have one to close it out then in the next month or so. I haven't had too much news on moving forward with the housing one yet, though it is in the works. I know they're working on it administratively. I've seen a few of the items come through for that, so hopefully the weather changes and they can get started on those exteriors. All kinds of stuff, but those are the highlights.
That's the owner occupied exterior improvements. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is the last year for that program. They have
Yeah.
decided to discontinue it, so much for getting on the bandwagon on that one, but at least we got in on the last year.
Any other questions or comments for Beth under the city administrators report? Thanks, Beth, for that. 10.0, mayor and council reports. 10.1, mayor's report. Nothing at this time. 10.2, council reports.
The LCC, I'm with the Parks and Rec. The father-daughter dance was a success. They had a big turnout for that, and they have a vendor fair coming up on April 2nd. And they started working on the racquetball courts in there and a lot of other construction.
Thanks, Teresa. Any others?
Tourism is going to hold their annual meeting. I believe it's March 22nd at Camp Courageous. I think it starts about 5 o'clock and will run until about 7 o'clock or so. Everybody's invited.
Week from tomorrow evening.
I believe that is correct.
Thanks, Rich, for that update.
Yeah, it's March 22nd, 5 to 7 at the Camp Courageous Durgan Pavilion.
Eleven point zero, public comment for items not on the agenda.
Tom Durgan, downtown property owner. Couple things back on that bridge quick. I did talk to Derek about if there was any money out there, and quite honestly, I don't remember where we left the conversation, so I'll have to talk to him again. And then I think I did tell you guys that I took, after I brought everything to you guys, I also took it to the supervisory meetings too. Kind of back to the 8.10, 8.11. These guys are doing an awesome job cleaning up these streets. And the skid loaders, I think, are well justified. When you see all these guys are working these, I don't know what it was costing the city to have someone else come in and plow it to the center, clean it, and do all that versus what these guys are doing, but you guys are doing an awesome job. to have someone else clean it up. I'm sure it's about cheaper, having you guys do it, more efficient, way cleaner, way better. Thank you.
Nancy Schaefer, 803 North Division Court. I wondered if there were any other board/committees that need to have some adjustment, the same way that 7.4 was addressed.
Can respond. The city attorney did not point anything out other than the fire.
Are you aware that there may be some that they did not point them out?
The only other one, again, I guess that could be brought into question is the landfill, because that has two representatives where all other boards are single reps.
And then the other thing I was wondering about is if we are short an iPad, because I have noticed one council member without one, and tonight struggling trying to.
No, I wasn't struggling. I just, that one that I have,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. No, that's the one I was given, so.
So I'm sure he has to get one with a bigger screen, I would think anyway.
We'll get there. Do you have something else that works for you?
Anyone else would?
This is fine.
Chris Nelson, Shive Hattery. I just wanted to address the council regarding the fire department project. Ron Hens, he's the project manager for us out of Des Moines. He'd asked me to come down because obviously it costs a lot less to have me drive from Stone City here than him 2.5 hours away. We have, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the contract, but our contract is a 12-month contract that ended at the end of, would have ended at the end of February. Well, obviously with construction costs and the delays in the building showing up, and I assume you guys are all aware of the building delays. Okay. He's brought to my attention that they would like to ask for another $15,000. It'd be an hourly contract not to exceed $15,000. That is the estimated effort they believe it will take for us to do our CACO correspondences with Beth and whomever else for the remainder of the year until the building comes in, the pad's done, and everything's completed. Like I said, that would be hourly not to exceed. Once we hit that amount, there would be another discussion how to proceed if we were going to ask for more, if we were done with construction. But if it only came at 6,000, then the city would only be at like 6,000. So I just wanted to bring that up. That was something Ron had brought up to me and wanted me to come and discuss with you guys. So do you guys have questions, I guess, probably on that?
So it needs to be an agenda item, so will
Okay.
Ron be sending us an actual
Yeah, Ron,
amendment of some sort?
and I
That was my
apologize. Yeah,
understanding.
Ron had hit me up about it because we were kind of caught off guard. I saw your resignation in the paper, and so I let him know that. And so we were just trying to see point of contacts to go through. And so, yeah, along with that, Ron had asked too, do we have a game plan for a month from now or after your resignation of, because you've been the point of contact for everything for us. So who we're going to start bringing in and directing this work through?
I've already talked to Ron about that.
Yeah, you told me tonight that you didn't give him an answer. That's why I
That's
asked you.
because we, as
Okay.
you saw from, well, on the agenda was their discussion of that.
Okay,
Again, there, since it's not on the agenda for discussion, there, we
They
won't
can't
have
vote.
deliberation.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I just wanted to bring some clarification to that. So, yeah, if you guys want to add that to the next meeting then, or however.
just whenever he sends me something
Okay.
over, that's fine.
Okay.
I'd like to use this opportunity, I guess, to follow up to the memo that was sent today. That is the first I have known of any additional costs. I have not had contact with Shive Hattery. I did run into Chris last week, and he inquired about who the point of contact would be. My response to Chris was, that's a good question. I have to find that information out for you. So contrary to the memo, I have not had conversations with Shive Hatter.
So that is not what I was told. So I was
I'm
just passing on the
sure.
information that I had. There's not meant to be anything by that, just that that's what I was told, that you would have a discussion. And that was. the
Yeah,
end.
Ron had asked me, after we discussed, obviously, your departure, that I needed to find a point of contact. And like Rod had said, we ran into each other in public. I did not feel that that was appropriate time to have a discussion regarding business. So it was never brought up, nothing was discussed, and then I decided to come here, so.
Any other one with business for the council? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
But it's gone.